Welcome back. In this video, I'll go over the steps needed to configure CodeLight IDE to work on Windows with the C++ compiler we just installed. If you haven't installed C++ compiler, please go back to previous video and install it, as you will need it installed in order to continue. So first you want to run CodeLight IDE. So when you do run it for first time, it should show something like this. Uh, Now we need to do next. So it will ask us for development profile. In this course, our main focus will be on C++ development. So we need to select this and do next. Now it will ask us to set up a compiler. So we need to click scan. Now what this does is, when we click scan, what this does is it scans our system for compiler using the path variable we previously set up during installation of C++ compiler. Now when you do scan it, it will show you where your compiler is. If this installation path is blank or empty, it's probably because path variables are incorrect and you really need to go back and finish them. Next. Now next it will ask us to customize our colors. The dark theme, which you can see really suits the eye, looks really good, but for video purposes I'm going to select system defaults because I believe it shows better on the video. So after you selected your personal preference, do next. Now it will ask you for white space and indentation, leave it as it is and do finish. Now to check, okay, it will restart, of course. So now that the CodeLight has been restarted, to check if you have done it correctly, you need to go over to settings, then build settings, and you can see under tools, C++ compiler has been installed. Now if it doesn't show here, again it's because the path variables are incorrect and you really need to go back and correct them. But if you have been following my video till now, this shouldn't be a problem. So after this is done, our first step is completed. Now we are ready to move on the next step. Okay, so now what we are going to do is we are going to create a real simple code just to be sure that everything works correctly. So what we want to do is we want to create a new workspace. To do that, you can either click on the new workspace or workspace and new workspace, either one. So once you do that, it's going to ask you for your workspace type. Now you want to select C++. Okay. And I'll be storing it in my documents folder. You can rename it as, say, first workspace. Now you want to be sure that you have no space here. So space wouldn't really work, or an international characters. You really want it to be as simple as possible. Uh, so you're gonna do next, and yeah, always be sure that you check this box, create the workspace under separate directory. This really saves us a lot of hassle. So we're gonna do okay. So now you can see on my left I've got my first workspace. You can consider a workspace as just an holder for the projects. So if we really want to create a new project, we need to right click it, new, and then a new project. So a new window pops up. Now this is really very important. You need to make sure that you don't put any spaces while naming your project or any international characters, or you might run into some errors. So for this I'm just gonna tell it project 1. uh, Always check this box because it really saves us a lot of hassle, as I told you earlier. Now in category we need to select console. Now you can see there are multiple options from which we can select. We select console because it is a non-user graphical interface, or in other words you can say that it displays our output on just a command line. So we'll select console. Now it asks us for type. Now for type we need simple executable G++. Compiler is MinGW. Now if you have multiple compilers installed on your system, you will get different options. For me it's just one option. Now debugger. Now GNU debugger is used in Windows and LLDB debugger is used for Mac. So we are going to select GNU debugger because we are using Windows, and build system we need it default. So we're gonna do OK. Okay, so now you can see we have our project right here. This is our source code and this is main.cpp. Now when we open it, we can see our text editor. Now this is a basic C code which is like a preset. We really don't want it, we'll change it. But please be sure you have followed the steps correctly till here. So now we move on to our next step. So now you can see the fonts are really very small. So I'm going to make them bigger so they show up a little better on the video. You might or might not want to do this, but it's up to you. So to do that, you need to go to settings. After you are here, go to colors and fonts. So it's 9, so let's take it to 16. That should be good. Okay, apply and okay. Now I guess it shows up a little better on the video. So now we are gonna create our own code. So I'll delete this. This is actually a C code, not a C++ code. So now when I start to write my new code, you will have many different questions like what does this mean, what does std means. Just follow along and I'll explain everything along the course. So first we'll need a hashtag. We call it pound, but you could call it hashtag or whatever you want. Then you will write include open bracket like and greater sign. Then we put iostream. This is basically it's gonna include iostream library from standard libraries. So after that we'll put our main function. Now every C++ program has a main function, so our program will also have a main function. We'll do main and then it's open parentheses and close parentheses, not zero. It might look like a zero, but it's not a zero. Then open curly and you press enter. Now you see the IDE automatically generates close parentheses. So that's really advantageous if you see. Now I'm gonna type std. This stands for standard. It's a namespace. It stands for standard. C out. This is for output. C out. Then to greater than sign you can say. Then uh, you will say, let's say hello testing, and we'll close it up. So and again two greater than signs, std for standard, and endl. This stands for end line. And in C++ we always need to put a semicolon at the end to complete our code. Then we'll do a return 0. So this is really case sensitive, so you really need to be sure that you are in proper case. We'll do return 0 and a close parenthesis. So basically this is our a short code. So now you can see here there's a red line. This is red because this is not saved, and if I close it, which I will not, it will be gone. So you need to really go to file and save it, or you can use Control S. So you see once it's saved, this line appears green. So after that, now we need to build and run our program. But before we do that, we will need to do some more things to make sure we are using modern C++. Warnings pop up and other couple things. So for that you need to go to your projects, right click it and go to settings. So once you are here, you can see all of this is already set it up. It's good, we don't have to change a lot of them. You need to go to compiler. You see you have to change the C++ compiler option, not C. We are using C++. So you see these three dots, you're going to open them. You need to enable the C++ 17 feature because we are obviously going to use modern C++. If you want to use C++ 14 features, you can use this, but don't use both of them together. This is really going to confuse the compiler about what you are going to do. So you really need to be sure that you select them all. Now for just, I'm going to show you what you need. You need to enable all compiler warning, only one of them. We are going to select C++ for this course because it's of course modern C++. Then we'll need optimize for debugging and produce debugging information. Okay, that's all. We apply it, it's good. Second thing we need to do is we need to go to linker and go to linker options to type a dash static. So you really don't, if you don't want to type it, it's all up to you, but it really helps you to learn C++ more better by showing different errors and stuff. So we're going to do OK. So since you have done all of that correctly, now we can successfully go to build and run it. So now it will ask you that you want to build the active project before executing. Of course, we need to build and execute. We need to compile it so we get a desired result. So I'm going to do remember my answer. Don't ask me again because I get bothered. So build and execute. So now you can see this is where the build comes in. I knew you need to add one more semicolon. I knew that, but I did that on purpose to show you what happens when you do something wrong. Now, there are a lot of different output view, but the most you have to be concerned is build and output. So in build, you can see this red uh, dialog. It says that C out is not declared in the scope because there's not a semicolon. Now, since I have added the semicolons and then I go and build it again, see the errors are gone and we can see hello testing. So I on purpose did not put it correctly, so you can see what happens when stuff goes wrong, because stuff will go wrong. There are going to be errors in your program, but coding is basically about your persistence. If you are really determined, you're going to be a successful coder. Okay, so now you can see, now see if I remove that semicolon and then build it again. First need to stop because it's already built. Now we need to build it again. See, we get an error, expected a semicolon before return. So before return they expect a semicolon. So this is basically it. So we have successfully created our first code. Now errors are bound to come in every code, and if you get any errors, you can post them down in comment section. I'll try to respond to them. Um, you can always link a screenshot for your build. This will really help me out to understand where you are getting stuck. But if you have followed it correctly, you have successfully created your first code, and I'll see you in the next session. Stay tuned.